Who's up for more No Box Art Box? Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today we're tackling the August 2021 SketchBox, and I'll be loosely going for the premium selection of supplies, but there are some choices I made that fit more with basic, and of course I'll go through what was in both boxes. Wonder what the No Box Art Box challenge is? It's a simple challenge I made to experience all the past months of art subscription boxes I'd missed out on by being a couple years late to the game, but you can also use this challenge to test boxes before committing, pretend you're subscribed to more services than you can afford, still have fun with these boxes when you've got too many art supplies, or just use it to get inspired. Step 1. Pick any art or craft supply subscription box, pick a past month that already shipped, and look up the contents. Step 2. Match the supplies as close as possible using items you already own. Exact matches are fine as long as you're not using this challenge to redo an exact box you actually received. If that's the case, pick the next closest match in your collection. Oh, and no shopping for the challenge. The point is to use items you already have on hand. Step 3. Make art. If the original box had a challenge prompt or a theme, try to stick to it. Only add missing essentials such as a pencil or a piece of paper. If you do this challenge with any box, not just the boxes I've done, and you share it on social media, use the hashtag NoBoxArtBox so everyone can see it. And definitely let me know if you post a YouTube video so I can add you to the playlist. As per usual, with my Artbox videos, I'll tell you what was in the box and what the manufacturer's suggested retail price was in US dollars. There will be conversions to Canadian dollars and pounds sterling in the description box down below, along with any real-world sale prices I could dig up for those regions. And I'll do the math for you on which subscription tiers had what savings based on list price value and sale price values. And since this is a No Box Art Box, I'll also tell you what I used instead, maybe even why I picked an item over something else. Once we're through all of that, and likely almost at the end of the piece, I'll tell you what I think of this particular set of supplies as a combination, how I think the piece went, etc. Oh, and exciting news, kinda. I caved and subscribed to Art Snacks for 6 months of the regular box because they had an awesome come back to us sort of discount. So in the fall, you'll be seeing a lot more Artbox videos from me, and they'll be legit ones again. My first box will be the September box, but I probably won't actually see it in my mailbox until October, so I can't really promise when that's coming, but that's coming. Anyway, on with it. SketchBox offers 2 tiers, basic and premium. Premium is more expensive and it does often send 1 or 2 more items than the basic box, but the big difference is some of the items are higher quality or more expensive alternatives. I don't actually like that about SketchBox, and it's the reason I never went back to them as a regular subscriber after I tried them in 2018. I tried Basic Box for 3 months, and then Premium Box for 3 months, and in both sets there was one box in 3 where I actually wished I had received the opposite tier that month, because it had different items I liked better. Some people swear by SketchBox and won't get anything else, and that's great. I prefer to experience them this way, and then maybe jump in on their specialty boxes, or grab a single month when they tease an item I really want. Both tiers in the August 2021 box got the Kuretake Graphite paste, and the card said, "This high-viscosity medium has the metallic shine and matte texture of traditional graphite in liquid form. Try diluting this medium to create a value range." So this is liquid graphite, which means it's water-soluble and can be watered down, and although they likely sent a very dark value so you have the maximum range of values to play with if you want to make washes, it isn't going to be black. This has an RRP of $12 US, which is pretty on par for those square bottles of anything from Kuretake. I'm not a huge fan of liquid graphite, so I'm not sorry I missed it, but I do love this brand. To replicate this, I'll be using the darkest neutral shade I own in a tube of liquid graphite by Derivan. I got 3 of these tubes in a scrawler box last year, and I haven't got much use out of them since doing that box's challenge, so it's nice to trot it out even though it's not my favorite thing to use. If you like the look of these Derivan tubes, they do come in a range of tinted colors as well. My other ones are blue and greenish yellow. Next up is a gouache. Both tiers got a gouache in the shade dark green, but they got very different ones. Premium got a 20 milliliter pot of Holbein acrylic gouache, and the card says, fast drying, this opaque acrylic-based gouache dilutes well with water and dries to a matte finish. These have an RRP of $9.24 US, though you'll pay a whole lot less ordering it from places like Dick Blick. Acrylic gouache is an acrylic version of gouache paint, which means it's even more matte than regular gouache, but don't let that description fool you. Regular gouache, when used properly, also dries matte. I think the big deal is actually probably that acrylic gouaches are easier to work with over large patches because you're less likely to get an uneven finish. I could be wrong though, I'm not familiar with acrylic gouache. If anyone in the audience is, please let me know. The basic box customers got a 16 milliliter tube of Talon's Plaquette Vert gouache, and the card says, this high pigment opaque gouache dilutes well with water and dries to a matte finish. So, same thing. These have an RRP of $5.50 US, which confuses me because no matter which country's big art chains I was searching on, I could only find the Savoir Faire Royal Talons line, and that's a low student grade budget line that doesn't even sell open stock, but you can get a 12 set of those for about that RRP price altogether, so to match this, my options were very limited. I only own Daler-Rowney brand gouache, and I only have a bunch of convenience colors in their lesser Simply line. So it's kind of like I'm going for the basic box here, but I swear I was trying my best for the premium. I could have swapped for a high-end watercolor to get the value, or watered down some acrylic paint to try and get the acrylic effect, but I just went for what was easy and the closest honest match. I'm using a Daler-Rowney traditional gouache in the shade Hooker's Green. Another item that both tiers got exactly the same was the Koh-i-Noor Gioconda White Charcoal Pencil, which has an RRP of $2.65 US, and the card says, great for drawing, sketching, and adding highlights to any work of art. I do have a Gioconda pencil to show you for looks, but not the right color. Koh-i-Noor isn't a very big popular brand around here, so the only items I have by this brand have come to me in subscription boxes, and the one lonely Gioconda pencil I held up there happens to be from a SketchBox. In its place, I'm using a white pastel pencil from Lyra Rembrandt, and this was also a subscription box item, but I believe it came in the scrawler box that had us painting portraits with charcoal. Also, I know the listing here calls the Gioconda pencil white charcoal, but usually that'll be a chalk pastel pencil sold in the same line or even boxed up in a set with actual black charcoal pencils. Think about it, charcoal, it's created from burning wood, it's gonna be black. Next up, everyone got some fine liners, but Premium got 4 liners from 2 brands and Basic got 2 liners from 1 brand. Premium customers got 3 Emot fine liner markers in the shades light green, emerald green, and sea fog, and the card said, vivid fine liners with a unique tip that offers water-resistant, non-bleed, and fade-proof lines. They have an open stock RRP of $2.29 each for a total of $6.87 US. Premium customers also got a Copic multiliner black in the size 10, which produces a 1mm line, and the card said, this permanent waterproof pigment liner is great for details or line work. These have an RRP of $3.99 US. I'm using 3 similar colors from my Staedtler Triplus collection and the exact Copic multiliner. If you caught the fact that I held up an 01 instead of a 10 in the opening faux unboxing, good catch! I thought it was an 01 at first, and I double-checked as I was filming the close-ups. Basic box customers got a pair of Zebra Sarasa fine liners, and the card says, these water-resistant liners offer vivid colors and archival quality pigments. Open stock RRP is $1.75 each for a total of $3.50 US. So once again, kinda sorta straddling the line between replicating premium versus basic, because my Triplus fine liners are water-soluble fine liners that are probably dye-based. The Emot liners are pigment-based, and it's unclear what the Zebra pens are. I don't mind though because I love using Tri-Plus pens as watercolor. Everybody got a Princeton Velvet Touch Chisel Blender size 4, and the card says this mixed media brush is great for blending values and rendering forms. These have an RRP of $7.35 US. I love Princeton brushes, but I don't have a chisel blender in any brand, so I'm using a size 4 flat shader, which is similar but longer bristled, and this one is a Silver Silk 88. Last but not least, we need paper, right? Everyone got a custom 4x9 inch pad of Hahnemühle Britannica hot press watercolor paper. The card says this custom pad is great for a variety of mediums and offers a smooth and absorbent surface. Estimated RRP is $8.50 US for 12 sheets. I'm once again pulling out my 6x8 block of hot press watercolor paper by Fluid. Nothing special to see here. I've used this pad in 3 watercolor videos in a row now. The RRP total for this box is $38.62 US for basic and $50.61 US for premium, but you know the sale prices at real-world retailers will be cheaper. I haven't finished doing that math at the time of recording this voiceover, but it'll be down below in the description box if you're curious. I did have fun with this one. I like the color combination a lot, and I decided to do a little green fruit illustration. My inspiration photo was a kiwi, but it kind of strayed into mystery tropical fruit territory, and that's okay. I like putting rereadable medium like gouache over an ink medium like the Tri-Plus pens because I know those pens aren't going to move as much once I let those layers dry, and I can rely on the shapes I put down staying clear. I'm really not a fan of the graphite sheen, but it does add some interest here with the seeds in the fruit. I wanted to add some wetness shine with that white pencil, but it really didn't want to make much of a mark at all on top of anything, and it smudged the graphite. Overall, would I be happy with this box? Yes, tentatively, depending on the savings for a Canadian customer paying international shipping. The Kuretake liquid graphite doesn't seem to be in the North American market unless you're going through Scholarbox, so that's a plus. And I love Hahnemühle paper. What do you think? If you got the real box, which tier did you get and what did you do with it? If you're looking for more to watch, I've got some suggestions up on the left side of the screen now. Don't forget to like, comment, maybe even subscribe, and if you like living life creatively, whatever that means to you, I'd love to have you along for the ride. Bye guys!